It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, right now, the World Economic Forum's 25th meeting in Africa with the theme Then and Now, Reimagining Africa's Future, will be taking place in Cape Town this week from the 3rd to the 5th of June. Now, it will be the largest ever in the region with more than 1,250 leaders from business, politics, academia, civil society and the media attending. Now, joining us on the line in Cape Town to talk to us about the forum is the director at the World Economic Forum Africa, Oliver Cann. Thank you very much for taking our call this morning, Oliver.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Now, with this being the 25th meeting in Africa, tell us a bit more about how this creates opportunity to see exactly how Africa has progressed economically since 1990.
Well, the World Economic Forum meetings tend to look forward. I mean, we're known for bringing people together from all sections of society, from business, from government, from civil society, from the youth, from the media, from academia, and really looking ahead, sometimes uncomfortably far ahead, to see what the challenges are and see what we can do about them. Having said that, 25 years is always a really good opportunity to look back and just take stock of the achievements that have been made in that time. I mean, don't forget, we launched our first, we had our first meeting the same year that Nelson Mandela was released from prison. And we've had a deep partnership and friendship, I believe, with Africa, and especially South Africa. Since then, President Mandela appeared in Davos along with Chief Buthelezi and F.W. de Klerk in 1992 and again in 1999, and has been regarded as one of the most charismatic figures ever to have attended and participated in one of our Davos meetings. I think if you look back over the 25 years, that Africa has changed and made enormous strides economically, politically and socially as well. And what we'll be doing this week in Cape Town is looking at what kind of progress has been made there, but also looking at the great challenges Africa still faces in order to achieve a prosperous and secure future.
Yeah, and what I'm really excited about is that there's going to be a bit of a sense of the future being integrated into it in the sense that over 200 young leaders will be integrated into the conversations there, as I said. And give us a bit more advice on what you think young leaders can do, or young people can do, in order to play a more active role in Africa's economy.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Africa's economy will not prosper if young people are not involved in the conversation. We take that very, very seriously. So you're right. We have more young leaders than ever before. We're drawn from communities that we have put together, such as the Young Global Leaders. These tend to be people in their 30s, people who are well known not just for achieving professional excellence, but also for having given something back to their community. And also young 20-somethings, the Global Shapers. These are young people who organise themselves in city hubs, and they work to improve to their city and in their own local environment. And they're coming together. There are now 80 hubs across Africa, and one person from each of those hubs will be in Cape Town today. So basically, what we try to do is make sure that the young and young people's voices are heard and that are participating in as many sessions as possible. Yeah. That the leaders are learning from youth and are able to take away insights that maybe they wouldn't gain in other day-to-day interactions.
Yeah, that's fantastic news. And I understand that also that 3 pillars will be focused on this year, where they are enabling markets, marshalling resources and inspiring creativity. Tell me a bit more about these 3 pillars and how they form an important part of the running of the forum this week.
Well, yes, thank you. You're absolutely right. Three pillars. We tend to be slightly policy wonk style when it comes to coming up with names for pillars. I don't want to bore you or put you off by those, but these are basically 3 areas we believe and we've identified as being really absolutely critical for Africa. Enabling markets. This means anything from improving capital markets, making sure investors are more comfortable investing in Africa. One of the amazing and ironic things that we found talking to the international business community is there's a huge appetite to invest more in Africa, but there are still reasons, whether it's transparency, whether it's regulation, whether it's just lack of knowledge and lack of information and data about Africa that's holding them back. So how do we get markets moving? How do we get labour markets functioning more effectively? How do we get goods moving across borders? Again, Africa only has 12% trade within its borders. That compares very poorly to 60% in Europe and 40% in Asia. And so huge amounts of work there. Inspiring creativity is of the utmost importance. What we're finding, again, is that services are flourishing in Africa, possibly more so than manufacturing, which remains held back by high energy prices and inefficient labour markets. So services, how can we get the services improved? How can we inject African businesses into global value chains? How can we use the amazing creativity and innovations that we're seeing flourish over the continent? How can we scale that up into big world-class businesses, which we do see from time to time, but we could see a lot more of. Marshalling resources is about a couple of things, really. We could break it down into how do we make better use of the abundance of natural resources in Africa and make sure that the wealth is shared fairly and equally between Africans. But also Africa's greatest talent, let's not forget, is its people. So marshalling resources also means how do we make a workforce that will be bigger than China's in 2040, able to compete on the global scale. They need skills, they need training, they need an environment where their innovation and their capacity to develop can truly flourish. So we're going to be looking at all of those ways this week in Cape Town.
Oliver, thank you so much. It's sounding exciting already, and good luck with the meeting and the forum this coming week. And that is, of course, Mr. Oliver Cann, the director at the World Economic Forum Africa that's taking place in Cape Town. Of course, the meeting will also, for the first time, be webcast. They'll be webcasting all of the press conferences and issue briefs live, enabling the public to submit their questions on very important issues facing Africa and identifying innovative approaches that will bring about sustainable development in the future. So, encouragement to all of the young people out there, if you have access to some kind of web connection, make sure that you become part of it. We'll be right back on your Feel Good Breakfast show right after this break.